Um, so, and then what are some of the different uses that for different types of wood? Because obviously, different, oak is going to be different than pine, which is different than
Yeah.
maple, whatever.
Well, there are very different types of wood, and that depends on the sort of tree. So that fast-growing trees have very light wood, so they can produce a thick as trunk as possible. Things like balsa wood or poplar, and they're very good mostly for sort of packing materials. So balsa was when you made balsa wood models when you were a child, maybe I certainly used to, but
Mm-hmm.
it was also used as sort of packing material uh, and making pallets out of is poplar. Um, then when it comes to the big trees that grow in the forest, things like oaks and beeches, that's got medium density wood, be good for construction purposes and for carving. And then when you get to trees which grow in the understory of forest, things like ebony or holly, um, or wood is very dense, it's very dark, and that's very hard. It's very used carving into very thin objects to find that statues and things, a lot of are made out of those nice hardwoods. Some instruments are made out of those hardwoods because they conduct sound very well, very fast. You get a nice bright tone. The ornaments have inlaid patterns, marquetry of ebony and rose, make beautiful objects.
Yeah. So, I like wood a lot. For example, when I carve, one thing I like to use is
Hmm.
some fresh basswood. It's nice and soft. It carves
Oh
very
yeah,
easily. Yeah. And another very nice wood, is willow, which is very popular with the way that
yeah,
the ancient Irish used to make their coracles with, when they would weave the
that's
round
right.
boats.
Yeah, it's willows are very one of those very light woods, easy to carve. But the basswood you're talking about, made from lime trees, that was used by the best carvers ever back in the 18th century. People like Grinling, Gibbons, such fine grain, and the grain is all even, and that you can. He was able to carve incredibly detailed carvings showing things like the ears of corn and violins complete with even the strings were carved just out of the basswood. And even today, when you make bowls in order to make metal components, those are often carved out of basswood because it's simply the best and most beautiful wood to carve.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, and then yeah, also there's of course the element of curl in some woods, which has there been any historical use for that, like with the curly maple, for example, or
It's mostly they're curly bits, so mostly used for decoration purposes.
mm,
They tend to be, if you're looking for a big wood, it's a good idea to curl in. But if you're, but the curl tends, and you get lots of sort of rings of grain around the branch trees. And one of my PhD students, uh, Duncan Slater, was able to show just how well some of those little rings of wood, which are the branch joints of trees, so that they didn't split apart. And that's why trees branches not a weak point when the branch splits off from the tree.